Welcome to Becoming with your host, Morgan Tyler. We are going to do this together. We are going to journey together, only to have someone who I trusted look me in the face and say, pack your things. I am so excited to welcome you to this platform where we are going to go over the highs and the lows of becoming the woman that God intended for us to be. If I can be honest, this has been a journey. This has been a road that has had some wins and some lessons. I don't want to call them losses because honestly, I needed every single one of them. I can remember back in maybe about 5 years ago where I switched from corporate to being a full-blown creative. And I thought to myself, I finally did it. I took the leap. I made it. Only work at that job for all of 6 months. To walk in and be told that today is your last day and you can pack your things and you can leave. Now, in that moment, I said I did everything right. I took the leap of faith. I kept saying, Morgan, you're going to do it scared. Morgan, this doesn't make sense, but you're going to do it scared. Only to have someone who I trusted look me in the face and say, pack your things. What does that look like? How do I go home? How do I tell my husband? How do I look my kids in the face who know that their mom is a working woman who's doing all the things, to see her go from going to work every day to not at all? I felt lost. I felt like I heard God wrong. Now, let's fast forward to maybe a year, 2 years, where I bet on myself. I bet on God. And I said, all right, God, I'll take this lesson and I'll apply it to the next thing. And I did that thing and it went okay, but it didn't quite go as planned. And then I did it again and it went okay. It actually went better than okay. But then God said, it's time to close the door. What does that look like?
Whew. Okay. I feel like the fact that we are here right now and doing this is actually crazy. I'm sitting here and I'm prepping for starting over. I have been having to wrap my mind around starting over so many times that it's like, y'all, I have talked myself out of doing this, if I could be honest, and then talked myself back into it, and then gotten a message from someone that inspired me to keep going. Which, by the way, I don't think y'all realize how much y'all inspire me, and how much you guys like really, really help me to follow and become and do all the things. As I've been preparing for this moment, I have been reflecting and just thinking about, okay, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to tell them? And what are the things that I'm going to like be transparent about? And how is this going to like help someone? Is this going to help someone? And it's funny because as I am even thinking about it, it's like, ooh, starting over in general and starting over in this way and seemingly so close brings this level of anxiety almost, where I've been like, kind of like, when you're getting ready to go to like Thanksgiving dinner with a bunch of family members that you never seen before. Not never seen before, but you know how like when you're going to dinner with a bunch of family members that you haven't seen in a long time, and you're just afraid of what they're going to ask you, like, when are you getting married, or what are you doing now, what's the job you're working on, what's your 5-year plan, like, the dinner table talk that's not really the dinner table talk. That's what I feel like I'm like, I have this level of anxiety of like, people are like, oh, what is she starting now, like, what is she doing now, oh, I thought she was doing this, so now she's doing that, like, ugh. Yeah. I gotta be honest with y'all. There's that level of fear of like what are people gonna say, what are people gonna think. But there's also this faith that has overcome that, and it's like, no, if God said it, He's gonna do it, and if God said it, He's gonna like protect you and provide and all the things. And so it made me think about just kind of where I've been so far and the things that I've like taken on and tackled, right? And it's funny because it takes me all the way back to the first thing. And when I started my creative job, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I have this big girl job. At the time I was in corporate and I really was set, and had the big girl benefits, all the things. And I kept getting this offer for this big girl job, but in the creative space. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm good right here at this desk. You know, it's safe here, But then the other part of me was like, but you don't belong at this desk. And like, this is not what the rest of your life holds, right? And so I prayed on it and finally did it, only to work y'all. I worked my tail off at that job. I worked my tail off at that job and did so many things and learned so many things. But I worked hard, like, I don't know, sometimes more than I should have, I feel like. But I learned so much there. So it's like, in hindsight, even though I did not last for more than the 6 months of that I was there, I kept thinking like, oh, I heard God wrong. Like, oh, this was the wrong decision. And now looking back, I'm like, no, it was the right decision. I actually would do it all over again because it set me up to believe in myself, to believe that I was a creative. Before I got that creative job, I used to say like, oh, I'll just do all this stuff for fun. And what I mean by all this stuff for fun is I used to post on Instagram all the time as just like a little hobby, like just to update the people. And I just used to do it in a fun way, or what I thought was a fun way. But then I got postpartum depression after my third kid, and I decided to make like a whole like platform about it because I wasn't finding enough women, and especially women who look like me, talking about postpartum depression, talking about how to juggle it and how to still like show up in your day-to-day life and all the hats that you're wearing. I'm like, why is nobody talking about this? And so again, I only kind of did it on the side because I'm like, I still have like children to take care of, I got bills to pay, all the things. And after I lost that job, all the things that I learned there, I was like, wait, I could really do this. And so that's where Millennial Moms came from. So all my Millennial Moms Club OGs has been following me since then. First of all, shout out to y'all. But that's where that came from. And at the time I was like, you know what, if I could do it for, one brand, I could do it for my own. And I had the bright idea to start it with a bunch of women, and they came alongside of me and they were great. And then that kind of like fizzled off. And I was like, okay, Lord, like maybe I'm just supposed to do this by myself, And I started really putting like so much time because I was at home, and I at that time, like I was like, I'm never working for anybody else again, and I'm gonna do this for myself, and la la la, and all this stuff, right? And they say like, tell God your plans, and He just gonna laugh at you. And so that still was hard because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I'm starting a business or what I thought was a platform and all the things, and it was going well. But it still wasn't like doing all the things because, again, I didn't know what I was doing. But it's so crazy because Millennial Moms Club ended up being another seed into what a lot of you guys know as Moms Actually. And so because I had placed so much time and effort into Millennial Moms Club, it allowed me to partner and create Moms Actually. And gosh, that thing was good. So good. Like, we did so much and it was so amazing, and it touched so many women, and we met so many women, and we did so many things. And then after 2 years, which we thought we'd be doing this till till the wheels fell off, like till our kids were like, okay, we're going to take over, you know? So imagine my surprise when after 2 years, God is like, yeah, I want you to be in full-time ministry. Full-time ministry, and then doing where we were in our journey, it was like there was so much to be done. I'm like, you want me to be in full-time ministry and also like do this platform where we're traveling and we're doing all the things, like, how, God, how am I supposed to do this? And there was this level of obedience that I had to have to just lay it down. And God, let me tell you something. Doing it scared, and like also being a follower of Christ and like having all this faith, but then also being fearful, and it is such a tug of war. It's such a, I feel like you're playing double dutch or something. I don't know, but it's a time. And I remember saying to myself, like, okay, Lord, like, I feel like I'm letting people down. I feel like this is another thing that I'm not finishing. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. Like, feeling like you didn't finish, so because you didn't finish, you failed. Yeah, that's what it was given. And then after a year of grief, after a year of processing, after a year of like learning so many things and losing so many things, I was like, I think it's time. I think it's time. And so God kept speaking like, no, you're not done. And it just so happens that now, this time, I'm starting over, and I'm starting over alone. And I'm starting over with more experience, but like a little wounded, you know what I mean? And a lot more scared, and feeling like, okay, God, is this going to be the time? Like, is this going to be one of those moments where we're like, I'm just doing this to learn another lesson? Or is this going to be a moment where like my wildest dreams come true and I meet so many more incredible women, and we build this amazing community and this amazing platform, and we reach the masses, and women get healed, and women get set free, and women find themselves, and are able to really like journey in a new way and have this level of perspective. Like, what is that? Is this going to be the time? Like, is this going to be the moment? I feel like that's what I keep thinking. Is this going to be the time? But I'm willing and ready to see. And even though it's scary, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Oh, I think that's the beauty of it, though. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this, is because becoming who God called you to be requires a level of sacrifice, requires it to get a little messy. It requires you to feel a little uneasy and uncertain. Oh, but when that masterpiece finally arrives and finally comes to its full form, you're like, that's what all this was for. Yeah.
Maybe you are sitting in your living room or in your car or getting ready for wherever you're about to go, and you're trying to figure out, is where I'm going even in the right direction? Is where I'm going the road that's less traveled? Am I even doing what he said? I can tell you that I've had all of these questions, and I want to use this platform to talk about the art of becoming. The way I think about it is kind of like a masterpiece, right? How many times did it take for that artist to, I don't know, start over? Does it mean the masterpiece never became anything? Does it mean that piece of art is not a masterpiece because maybe they had to start over 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times? It's okay. We are going to do this together. We are going to journey together. What I'm hoping in this moment is that we can take the limits off. We can be okay with starting new. Now, I want to tell you just some ways that I have been able to start new and actually overcome the feeling of fear. Because starting new is not one of those things that's very easy. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that honestly, it's very hard. It took me some time to finally start again. It took me some time to actually look at what I was staring at, erase it, throw it away, and start again. It took me some time to throw it away. Do I throw it away? A lot of the questions I ask myself. How long should I look at it? How long should I grieve this thing? Or when I finally do the new thing, are people just going to be ready for me to fail again? It sucks. It sucks. But I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you that with God, He makes all things new. He literally says, behold, I am doing a new thing. So first, we're going to talk about the grieving process, okay? Grieve. It's okay. You can go ahead and cry. And guess what? There are going to be times where you think you're okay. And that thing just sneak right up on you. And it's okay. It's all right. Honestly, that is literally the process of grief. You're okay 1 minute, and the next minute, you find yourself in the grocery store because you saw something that made you think of the thing, and then all of a sudden you got a tear just rolling down. You're not bawling. It's just like a tear. I'm not saying that happened to me. It didn't. But I'm just saying, I know what that's like. So be okay with grieving. Have some community around you. Community is everything. Have some people that are going to kind of lift you up when you're feeling down. Have some people that are going to remind you who you are. If you have been following me for any portion of time, you know that I do not play about my community. My community is why I'm sitting here right now in this moment. They're going to remind you who you are. They're going to pray for you like never before. And those are the people that you need in your circle, not the people who care about the next bag that's coming out. That's cute too, but you need the people that are going to get in their bag and pray for you and make sure that you are actually doing what God has called you to do. Actually make sure that you have a community that you're even comfortable with sharing those things. I see all the time where people are like, oh, don't share things too early and things like that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But who are the people that you are sharing it with? Who are the people that you're actually talking through things with? Because you cannot be having meetings with you, yourself, and you, okay? Yes, you could talk to God, but you got to talk to somebody else. You got to have some wise counsel. You got to have some like-minded people that are going to lift you up and then also carry you along when you need it. Now, I always say you can cry, you can be down, but you will not stay there. That is the rule here. We don't stay there, okay? So sometimes I'm like, I need a week. Sometimes I need a couple months. Sometimes I need a whole year. And that's okay. It's fine. Again, hold yourself accountable. How are you doing that? With people. How are you doing that? You're writing it down. When is the last time you wrote down what you want to do? When is the last time you said, who am I right now and who do I want to become? Have you actually written it down or are you just thinking it? That's not going to do anything. The word says, write the vision and make it what? Put it in the comments. Plain. Yes, you have to make it plain. You just thinking about it, it's not enough. We literally live in such a crazy world where there's so many things going on. And not only that, but I can bet you probably wear about 15 different hats. If you continue to let everybody else do their thing and run your thing, I promise you, you will get further and further down to the bottom of your list. And then you are going to look up 3 to 5 years later and still be looking at what happened and not what is. So I will say, write it down. It's okay. Even if you're scared to write it down, even if you feel a little silly and it seems out of this world, I challenge you right now. right now, go get a piece of paper, pull out your phone. If you're on your phone, don't turn off this video. You're going to keep watching. But go get a piece of paper and write down your wildest goals. And then guess what? Look at those goals and then write something bigger, because you probably wrote the safe thing first. I could bet you did. You know why I know? Because I did it. I wrote the safe thing. I always do, because I have this thing where I want to control everything. I want everything to make sense. I want to have the plan from A to Z. And what I'm realizing is the sooner I relinquish control, I use what has been placed in my hands to the best of my ability, the better and the quicker God could actually breathe on what I'm allowing him to use. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other thing that is super, super important is to try something new. Try something that actually has no actual, you're not benefiting from it, and it's not taking anything away from you. I think that's like super, super important, because it allows you to just explore. It allows you to have a hobby. It allows you to do something that doesn't feel like it has to be perfect, because nothing's banking on it. And that's a great, great thing. So think about it. What is something that you could start within the next month or two, in this first quarter of the year? What is the thing that you could start that has no obligation? It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't really help you. You're not making money from it. Whenever you put money in something, girl, you can wrap it up. You immediately, because it's an investment, you immediately have this level of like control that you want to have, right? So don't make money from it. That's one. Make sure it's an actual hobby and something that you enjoy. And you might have to do a little bit of trial and error. There's so many times I've been there where it's like, what do you like to do? I don't know, because we're constantly in our ebbs and flows and all of our responsibilities that we forgot to do the things that we love, or we forgot how to dream. When is the last time you looked back and you thought about the dreams that you had when you were a kid that you completely let go because life happened? Why don't you go back there? It's not too late. Lastly, what I am learning and what I've learned so far, I would say within the last year, that obedience is so much better than sacrifice, and it's so, so worth it. For me, what I'm learning is that my surrender is a process. My surrender has layers. So maybe you think you have surrendered. Maybe you think you said yes and that's it. Girl, guess what? Sir, if you watching with your girl, guess what? You're going to have to surrender again and again and again. You're going to have to say yes again and again and again. And you might feel crazy. Actually, when you feel crazy, that means you're doing something right, because you're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to have all of the answers. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. That's the art, right? That's the thing. That's the joy. And while I'm scared, right now, I'm scared, I trust him. You're not crazy. You're not running out of time. And wow, this could actually be your best year yet. All right, you guys, that is a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can continue on the journey of becoming with Morgan Tyler.